You know, for centuries, we've looked at ancient epics as just that, mythology, stories. But what if we've been reading them all wrong? What if, hidden inside these tales of gods and heroes, are the blueprints for a world we've long forgotten? Today, we're going to explore a theory so huge, it could literally rewrite everything you think you know about our past.
So we're not just here to tell you a story. No, we're on an investigation, and it all hinges on one single earth-shattering question. What if the greatest story ever told wasn't a story at all, but a warning?
All right, so where do we even begin? Well, our investigation doesn't start in some dusty old library. It kicks off right in the sand. Out in the deserts of India and Pakistan, archaeologists have stumbled upon a mystery that just completely defies our version of history. Evidence of an event that, according to our timeline, should be absolutely impossible. And look, this isn't just one weird finding. It's a whole pattern of really chilling evidence. I mean, deep beneath the ruins of ancient cities like Mohenjo-Daro, scientists have found layers of radioactive ash. They found stone that's been vitrified. We're talking rock that was literally melted into glass. And they found fragments of that glass, all pointing to an event of unimaginable heat and power. And here, this is where it gets really wild. The ancient epic, the Mahabharata, describes a weapon that shone like 10,000 suns. And what do we find in the desert? Trinitite, that green glass, a substance we only know how to create one way, in the heart of a nuclear explosion, something we first witnessed ourselves in 1945. The ancient poetry and modern physics, they are describing the exact same thing, but the texts go even further, describing the aftermath of these weapons with a kind of precision that is just eerie. This quote here, that's not just some dramatic flourish. It is a perfect clinical description of the symptoms of acute radiation syndrome. I mean, how on earth could they have known this thousands of years ago? Okay, so this level of destruction, it implies an equally advanced level of technology, right? So if the evidence is real, you have to ask, who were these people? What kind of civilization could possibly wield that kind of power? To even begin to wrap our heads around this, we kind of need a modern yardstick. So back in 1964, an astronomer named Kardashev came up with a scale to classify civilizations, based purely on how much energy they could use. To give you some perspective, right now we're about a type 0.7, still pretty dependent on fossil fuels. This theory, it proposes that the society from these ancient epics had already reached the goal we're still dreaming of. They were a type 1 civilization, a true planetary society with the ability to command all the energy of their entire world. And when you read the texts, it's less like a myth and more like a tech spec sheet for a type 1 society. We are talking gravity-defying flying machines, weapons that could control the weather, voice-activated AI, artificial wombs for creating life, and even orbital weapons platforms. This isn't a world of chariots and arrows, folks. This is a world of total planetary mastery. Which, of course, brings us to the biggest question of all. A society this powerful, this advanced, why did they just vanish? Why was humanity forced to start all over again from the Stone Age? Well, the answer, according to this theory, is as terrifying as it is familiar. They turned all that incredible power against themselves. We know this concept all too well. It's the military strategy that has kept the world's superpowers in a, let's call it a fragile peace, for over 70 years. Mutually assured destruction. The simple, insane idea that if one side launches, everybody, everywhere, loses. And here's the kicker. The Mahabharata doesn't just describe some local battle. It details a world-ending conflict. It talks about these ultimate weapons. And it says that the people who deployed them knew that using them would mean total devastation for everyone. It's mad, described thousands of years before we ever built the atomic bomb. So this just reframes the entire narrative, doesn't it? The ancient epic stops being mythology, and it becomes something else entirely. A survivor's account of the day their world ended. A day of thermonuclear fire that literally reset civilization back to zero. It's the cold logic of total annihilation, the ultimate checkmate. And if this theory is correct, what we're looking at here isn't a prediction of our future, it's a record of our forgotten past. This just forces us to ask that ultimate question. What if we've been reading the Mahabharata completely wrong this whole time? What if it's not a myth, but a warning, sent to us across the millennia? So let's just lay out the whole argument, step by step.
First, a civilization rises to become masters of their planet. Second, they get locked into a global war, a conflict with the same horrifying logic we face today. Third, they use their ultimate weapons, leaving behind radioactive proof. And finally, they wipe themselves out, causing a great reset for humanity.
When you see it like that, the entire epic changes. It's no longer just a religious or mythological text. It becomes something starker, a history, a cautionary tale written by the survivors of a forgotten apocalypse who were desperate to tell future generations what went wrong. Which leaves us, right here, right now, with one final, absolutely chilling question. As our own civilization achieves powers our ancestors could only call divine, from AI to genetic engineering, are we just walking down the same old path? Are we doomed to repeat a history that we don't even remember having?